me in my comment section. You know what I'm saying? They called me N-words and all monkeys and all types of other shit. At what point? Like, what is it gonna take? When they start just going around unaliving folks?
Yeah, like, I mean, look, I consider a lot. I mean, I may seriously consider about, like, just being, like, independent. You know, like that guy talk about you Democratic, you know, but you don't align yourself with the Democratic Party. So, you know, you just, I guess you're independent, registered independent. That's, I'm saying, like,
I certainly am.
Maybe I'll just go registered independent, you know, and change my profile picture, you know.
Parties. Both parties are like that.
No, they're not. Name a politician. Name a politician. Hold on one second, Harry. Tabitha, first of all, we say good morning here. We don't just walk in people's houses and go in the refrigerator and, you know what I'm saying, kick our feet up on their coffee table with our shoes on. We don't do that here. We don't do that here. Every other person has said hello, good morning, you know what I'm saying, introduced themselves. Hey, have you had some water? I don't know how you behave where you're from. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I feel like that's motherless behavior. And I don't like it. James, Big W James in the chat for the $50. And also, thank you to I'm sorry, who was it? Heather. Thank you so much, Heather. And Patrice. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. So yeah, I'm just asking you to be respectful of my platform. I don't think that's a lot to ask.
Birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah. So can you tell me, good morning, Tabitha, first of all, how are you?
Do you need help unmuting yourself again? Hold on. There you go. There's a little microphone right next to the comment section. You can click that and unmute yourself, Tabitha.
Cole asked if you got their Venmo.
I'm sorry, who?
Cole?
Yes, James, thank you so much. I appreciate you, friend. And then we got a bunch for Auntie. Make sure when you're sending money for Auntie that you're putting a note on it so that I know where it's going. $10 for could I get a Jones Creamery shirt, please? No.
The answer is yes, actually.
Send me a DM, I got you.
Exactly.
The answer is no.
According to
I like talk about
it. Don't you dare, Harry.
What?
You was gonna say you would like one too.
No, I don't know. I was reading something. I was just saying I wanted to talk about a title. I was going to ask NORAD because she's probably more versed on this, but I was like, it just says a actual Florida statute since it's coming up on the amendment to be like we're.
Thank you, Sarah.
I'm not trying to be like hold on, sorry. Trying to be demeaning or anything. It just was like I actually want to talk, about a law and about a policy.
Sure. What's the statute?
Well, the Title 25, I guess, Chapter 390.
Iman, and thank you.
0.0111.
Parental notice and consent for abortion act. Yeah. What about it?
So like the amendment that's being proposed. In November, like.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Clarice.
We're talking, I guess. So this particular statute right here is saying that it allows for termination of pregnancies under certain conditions. Only, like, I guess that's as long as it has an advance into the third trimester. And so, is Amendment 4 trying to say that it's going to allow it in the third trimester?
So Amendment 4, if you vote yes on 4,
thank you, Ansel.
It's going to stay with the quote-unquote traditional definition of viability, which is, as we were discussing not that long ago, 24 weeks or less. If you're talking about the parental notice and consent portion of that statute, should you vote yes on 4, that will remain in effect. Any minor who seeks an abortion or abortion care must have parental notification or legal guardian notification before that can take place. Now, if the pregnancy has progressed past 24 weeks, there'll be certain criteria that need to be met that will be decided between the patient and their healthcare provider.
So So like, what exactly is Amendment 4 changing? And as what's currently in place right now, what is not allowed that Amendment 4 is supposed to be addressing?
So currently in Florida, the abortion ban begins at 6 weeks. So if you've passed 6 weeks of gestation without very strict criteria being met, you do not have access to abortion care. So the only thing that would change is it's going to give pregnant people more of an opportunity to make a decision, have discussions with their healthcare providers, find out if their fetus is viable to continue with the pregnancy. It just opens the patients to have more options for their healthcare.
Harry, I have a question for you really quick. How many...
Hold on, Kiara, before you do so, Jones. They can't see your sticker. They can't see your sticker. It's moved or it's gone.
Okay, can they see it now?
Yeah, I think so. Thank you.
Yeah, hold on. I'm cycling through who got what. I'm cycling through who got what. So just give me a second.
So Harry, how many weeks of missed period do you think 6 weeks gestation is?
I'm sorry, repeat that.
When somebody says I'm 6 weeks pregnant, how many weeks on average of missed period would that be? Of a missed period?
I'm not.
What do you think?
I don't know. I'm not trying to get back into a corner like it. Maybe a few weeks or something.
It's not a gotcha. It's not a gotcha, Harry. I'm not
or something. I don't know.
Exactly. It's like 1 to 2 weeks, correct? Okay, so it's usually around 1 or 2 weeks of a missed period. How long do you think it takes to arrange having an abortion? And having like very serious discussions with your healthcare provider and your partner, etc., and with yourself.
Under like the current statutes, as far as like if just of like, are you talking about like in a medical emergency, or are you talking about like as a decision?
I'm talking about an elective procedure.
I don't know. I don't know what the process like under the current.
So
here, if it's saying 2 physicians,
huge W for Joey. Thank you so much, Joey. You're amazing.
Are they even allowed to do it right now under pure elective choices?
Up until 6 weeks. I was just trying to make a point that
Joey sent $200. Thank you so much, Joey. 100 towards Auntie, 100 towards the goal today. Hey, Auntie's at $295 right now, just so everybody knows.
Big slay.
You guys are amazing.
I was just trying to demonstrate, Harry, that your abortion restrictions give people only a couple days worth of time to make a life-changing decision.
Okay, well, I'm like, not to be like, saying my abortion restrictions, I'd like to, I'd vote if I voted for people that put these legislation in place, like we can talk about that. But I basically was trying to get to no rads, like, so like if they pass this, so like they say where the restrictions that are in place now, they say like after 6 weeks or the strict confines, like you have to have like, I think this says the 2 physicians have to certify in writing and then reasonable medical judgment stuff. So like if they pass before, is it saying, does it alleviate those restrictions as far as, does it say it's basically just requires one doctor's consent or like no certified in writing by any doctor, like it could just happen, or like what changes in that aspect?
So those restrictions would be removed up until point of viability. And then after that, those restrictions would essentially remain in place because that's kind of how it's always been. That wouldn't change. Like Kiara was trying to make the point to you that when a person finds out they're pregnant, typically, and this is assuming they have a regular menstrual cycle, typically they only have just a few days before they hit that 6 week window, if they haven't already hit that 6 week window. And in Florida, they require a waiting period and a whole bunch of other red tape for you to jump through before you can even make a decision and go through with the procedure. So the way that it is right now, it puts people who are pregnant in very risky situations, not only for their health, but their health of their existing children, because should they lose a pregnant parent over these laws, then who do they have? One less parent or no parent at all. So the purpose of this, saying yes on 4, is to allow people more of an opportunity to have a voice in their opinion on their healthcare and what they choose to do with their bodies, and give them time to make considerations for not only themselves, but their partners and their families.
Yeah, I think that more people would be more likely to jump the gun and have an abortion because of the pressure of time. Because if they know, I'm like, oh my God, I have to make this decision now, and in 2 weeks I can't make it anymore. I think people would be more prone to have an abortion. Yeah, exactly. And that's like something that I want you to be aware of. I know you had different questions, but there's implications of your policies. There are massive implications on people's life if we force them to have an abortion prior to 6 weeks, which most people may only be eligible for a week or two, but many others aren't even eligible at all because they didn't know that they were pregnant. Many only find out at 7 or 8 weeks that they're pregnant because they have irregular cycles.
Yeah, hold on, Harry, if I can add on to what Kiara said. I still had a menstrual cycle up until my 3rd month. Even though I knew I was pregnant, I still had I didn't find out I was pregnant until the 2nd month, but I still had a menstrual cycle up until my 3rd.
Thank you, Kimberly.
And then eventually it just went away. So not everyone knows at 6 weeks. A missed menstrual is not a sign that you are, because you still have that up until a certain time. So there is no way to know, because all women are not the same. Our bodies are different. They operate. So it's not the same. So you can't group everyone into the same category.
I would also like to add, Harry, just so you know, so you have this information, and it's something that a lot of people are saying in the comments about birth control. Birth control is not always an option for everyone in the form of pills or other hormonally secreting types of medications. Even certain IUDs have hormones to them. People have blood clotting disorders and other health conditions that prohibit them, that are contraindicated for birth control pills. Also, people have latex allergies, and then most importantly, birth control fails. I've had 2 children on birth control, Depo-Provera being one, and another one being orthotricycline. And then my 3rd child, they told me I had secondary infertility and I would never get pregnant again. Surprise. So we have to have those options available for people. And just as Kiara said, if you're in a time constraint, if somebody said you have 6 months to decide if you want to do something, you're going to take your time, you're going to weigh your options, and you're going to really have an opportunity to think about what decision is correct for you. But if somebody said you have 2 days to make this choice, you're going to rush. You're not going to have all the information. You're not going to be able to make a sound decision, and you can end up making a decision that ultimately you do not want to make. We have to give people time. We have to give them all of the information. And the way the current legislation reads, that is not available.
Yeah, I understand. Like, I'm not a woman. I understand the whole, I don't know what people were saying, but the IUD and my ex-wife and things, I like the thing you get in your arm. I know it screws with hormones. It does all kind of crazy things. And so I know all that's not available, but I think this is. And so, I would ask and say, if it changes and you go as a compromise or something and say, so they allow all these restrictions are in place of how the process has to take place, but if you made it 6 months, are you saying just make it through the whole term of the pregnancy, like this is still an option?
No, it would not say that it is an elective option during the entire course of the pregnancy. Saying yes on 4 would not do that.
Yeah,
it would also make it less complicated for physicians to practice medicine. If you have no restrictions on abortion, that doesn't mean that doctors or physicians are just gonna unalive fetuses at 8 or 9 months, because it's also not in the best interest of the patient. So it allows them to treat people that need it, because we've seen many women or many people with uteruses experience great amounts of harm because they needed an access to an abortion, but the lines were so unclear and physicians didn't want to lose their license that they did not treat them with an abortion, even though it would have been medically necessary.
Listen, man, I don't understand. For the life of me, I cannot understand why people won't mind their own fucking business. Like, these aren't, like, you were trying to make decisions based on your own personal moral code, or, you know what I'm saying, like, ethical code, for people that aren't in your family, people you don't know, you know what I'm saying, people that you'll never come in contact with. And the worst part about it is y'all don't actually give a fuck about kids. Because when it comes to food programs, when we know 1 in 5 children go to bed without food every night, you know what I'm saying, you guys turn down food programs in schools every time they're presented. You don't want universal health care for children. You don't want to make sure that all children have, you know what I'm saying, stable housing environments. The fucking adoption and foster care system is basically a child trafficking. You don't care about, you know, revamping that or fixing that. You don't care about the fact that guns are unaliving children, you know, more than cancer or any other, you know, more than car accidents, more than drowning, more than any other thing. You don't care about that. So why are we making such a big deal about women having children that they don't want, just to put them in a society that's not going to care for them?
Harriet, go ahead, Harry. I'll wait till you're done. No.
Like, hey, I know it's shit here, but you should come. Look, hey, get on in. The water's fine. Knowing it's infested with fucking alligators.
Well, I was going to bring up a scenario, like if it was regarding like one of my daughters, and kind of see where I'm trying to come from. But I like those things that you just all said. Like, I care about them things, honestly. I said, but those are very complex, complicated issues that, you know,
they're really not. They're really not.
Well, I mean,
let me tell you how they're not complex and complicated. Harry. Because if we look at, you know, any of these European models in terms of like education and childcare and things of that nature, they have childcare, they have universal pre-K, they have universal health care, they have free breakfast and lunch at the schools. Like, all of these things exist in every other socialized country but ours.
It works too.
I'm talking about like the legislation to do things and change things. Like, is like
the only people standing in the way are conservatives.
And we see it, like, even just with
Ansel, thank you so much.
Like, look what he did in Minnesota. No child is going in hungry. They have effectively put free lunches and free breakfast in for children, and it worked. It works, Harry. You have no argument or no proof that it wouldn't work. You've just been told that it's complicated and that we can't just give things to people because they want you to believe that. Because we have been giving this kind of money to corporations, and that's been working for them. But how about we use that money to make it work for children instead of corporations? Money and any sort of like financial resource has effectively improved the material conditions of people, and we can measure that by any standard. And people still come up here and say, well, it's so complicated, because that's what they've been told, because they don't want you to believe that it's that simple. But it is so freaking simple, I promise you.
So Harry is a Florida voter, and that is how we first came in contact with Harry. He saw my videos. So there's something that I need to tell you also, Harry. So if you decide that you're going to vote yes, and you get into that ballot box and you see that little note that they put on there that the Florida Supreme Court allowed them to do, the financial impact statement, please understand that that financial impact statement is a load of shit and not true. But also, beyond abortion care, we have seen throughout the United States what has become maternal care deserts. Right? Hospitals are closing their labor and delivery wards, and obstetrics and gynecological care are no longer existent there because of the implications of the legal systems they've put in place to potentially punish physicians with jail time and massive fines. So we have to look at even a bigger scope than just abortion care. If women or people with uteruses do not have access to gynecological care, there are much further and greater implications to that, to the health of these people. And physicians are leaving, and residency programs for obstetrics and gynecology have drastically seen a reduction in the amount of physicians who are applying for these programs. I believe it's over 30% less of physicians are trying to go into obstetrics and gynecology.
It is. It is.
Yeah, so that kind of brings me to the scenario real quick, though, that I wanted. All right, go ahead.
That's what I'm saying. And when I talk about, you know what I'm saying, conservative policies, right, and conservative politics in general, conservatism has never been beneficial to any society in history because it's short-sighted thinking, right? I only care about what is going to affect me right now. Right? This rugged individualism. And so when we're talking about not only gynecological care, right? When we're talking about gender affirming care, the vast majority of children that receive gender affirming care are cisgender. They're not trans children. They're cisgender children, like young boys with gynecomastia or young girls with precocious puberty. The vast majority of the people that get these treatments are cisgender. And so you're not harming, you're not stopping the people that you're trying to stop. You're hurting people, you know what I'm saying, who need the care that you agree with or align with or whatever. You're hurting fucking everybody. And it could be your child one day or your grandchild one day.
That's what I'm saying. I wanted to bring up that my child, I think I brought it up before here about there was a clinic down here that performed these procedures, okay? And there's a good OB here that's like helped with the legislation of some of this stuff to put in place. And so I've tried to explain like maybe where the care of this 6-week thing came in to be like on Thursdays, this doctor would fly in to do these ABs, okay, in these clinics. And so, like, if my daughter had a situation and she ended up pregnant and she goes into this clinic to get this AB done, she has complications during the AB. After the doctor's done left out of town, she's got complications now. That doctor is not required to administer any kind of care or anything to her after that's happened. Like, she then has to go to her OB to the hospital, and that doctor now has to take care of that person and to, like, you know, administer anything. And like, these doctors are not being held
what if those doctors
responsible.
Leave? What if they leave?
Her OB?
Yeah.
So,
that's what I'm saying. Then she doesn't have
the state.
Then she has nobody, because that's what happens. Is the AB, the AB doctor that comes in flies in from out of state, from Northeast.
So, Harry,
he would fly in and do these procedures and then fly out and not be responsible for providing any kind of aftercare if there's any complications that happen.
So Harry, should there be after procedural complications, and this applies for pretty much any procedure? Most physicians, given the symptoms of post-procedure complications, are going to direct you to the nearest emergency room. That is pretty standard, regardless of what the procedure is. If it's after office hours, they're not going to wait for you to come in the morning. They're going to tell you, please seek care at your nearest emergency room. And I can guarantee you, because that physician was the one who performed the procedure, that they will make contact with wherever your child or whomever is at the emergency room to check on their status of care, because it falls under their malpractice.
Yeah, and
so that would just be the standard anyway.
Well, but it does raise actually a good point, and I'm sorry, I don't want to, okay, but I just wanted to say the EMTALA Act that has also been under attack because of abortion, because of the current state. And I think No Rats is way better explaining it than I am, because I wasn't actually aware of EMTALA for a very long time. But what you're describing, like them being incapable of treating your daughter because she isn't sick enough, is like one of the issues that we're currently facing.
Okay, for those you know what I'm saying, people who don't read, because most of you don't, Margaret Sanger did not believe in abortion. She was in staunch opposition of abortion. Stop talking about it. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
My God, today, I'm telling you, they lactose intolerance books don't exist. And even when you present them with a fact, they want to push back and start with, well, I heard, well, I thought, or somebody told me. No matter the
she believed in birth control and abstaining, but she believed in birth control. She wanted birth control. She wanted birth control to be readily available. Oh, sure, I can show you where she said that. It's on My Picket Duty. It's called Woman Rebel. Woman Rebel. It was published March 14th, 1914. It's also in Reader's Digest in July of 1956, right? She says, Women Rebel, that women have the right to destroy, but she says, I've always condemned abortion as dangerous and inhuman, was her quote exactly. And you can find that at the Margaret Sanger's Papers Project. And it has hyperlinks to all of the articles in which she spoke on this topic.
And I can admit, my very first...
Planned Parenthood had never conducted a single abortion while Margaret Sanger was alive. Not a single one while she was alive.
And
I'm sorry, go ahead, Auntie.
That's okay. When I turned 18, my very first, what they call woman's business visit, was at a Planned Parenthood. My very first one when I was 18 years old. I took a bus from my mama house all the way to downtown Houston to try to find it downtown because I didn't want to go where anybody would see me. I left my house at 10 o'clock that morning. I didn't get home until 8 o'clock at night because, one, I didn't know how to catch the bus. That's number one. Number two, I got there like 30 minutes right before they were going to close, and I explained to them what was going on. So they did the exam, checked all my lady bits or whatever, asked me if I had any questions. Was I on any BCPs? I said, no, I'm not doing those type of activities because I was scared because my daddy told me if you kiss a boy, you're going to get pregnant. I ain't know he was lying. Shit. But I took him because I did tell him, I was like, look, my when Aunt Flo come, she bring Uncle Blow, Cut and Cramp, and everybody. So that's why I got on them to help regulate the things that were going on with me. Eventually, I got old enough to get a full-time job, to get my own insurance, and to find my own OBGYN. But back in the day, when you turned 18 years old, if you were on your parents' insurance, baby, you turned 18, you were done. And my mama had Blue Cross and Blue Shield. So I had to figure out how to fix me or work on me. And if it wasn't for Planned Parenthood and them $20 visits, I would not know anything that I know about my body as a woman today. So I thank Planned Parenthood for providing the care that I needed when I turned 18. I just wanted to say that, guys, we're on the road to 100K. We need to get these shares in the bottom right-hand corner up to 2,000 Ks. So please continue to engage, tap the screen, share the live, gift your panel if your views align with them. Please be respectful.
Yeah, you guys, I know y'all don't want to go sub only. I know you don't. I know you don't want to go sub only, but we got to get to that million real quick.
We don't.
I got my subscription and I'm in the box. I got my subscription and I'm in the box. I'm ready.
What's up, Don?
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning, cousin. I'm not going to call you auntie because you're my cousin.
What's up, cousin? What's up, cousin? How you doing this morning, baby?
I'm doing
How
good,
you doing, baby?
I'm going good, Shay. So, Harry, this is not just for you. This is for anybody who is not tracking on this. But I live in Mississippi. Mississippi has the number one with Black mother mortality and child mortality.
You said Mississippi, right?
Mississippi.
You mean the state where the 12-year-old girl or the 13-year-old girl started 7th grade with a baby by somebody who raped her?
Yep.
You mean that state?
Yep.
That state of Mississippi?
Yeah. I'm going to bear with me here because there's a lot going on in Mississippi. There's the old adage that's attributed to William Faulkner, which is if you understand Mississippi, you can understand the world. And I like to look at that and understand how the way in which Project 2025 is planned. It's already in action here. Probably about a year or two ago, you probably heard about how they were trying to institute Jim Crow courts in Mississippi that the local community would have no control over, no impact on. But with respect to healthcare, this state with the Dobbs case uprooted the protections that many people had in this country with reproductive health and abortion access. The state of Mississippi, up until a couple of years ago, had one clinic. Nemo, I'll get to that in a second. Had one clinic. It was infamously known as the Pink House or whatever. There's a documentary you can watch on it called Jackson. It was put out by Showtime a few years ago, and it talks about their struggles to stay open because they were offering health care in many cases, and some abortions were like the minimal thing that they were doing. But it talks about the misinformation that's out there by these pregnancy crisis clinics that make all these claims about, oh, there's a heartbeat at so many weeks. Oh, your baby starts blinking its eyes. It has fingernails. They put out all this misinformation so that you don't see this as a fetus or a medical issue. You see this as the child at 5, 6, 7 years. The documentary is called Jackson. Just Google Jackson abortion documentary.
Co-signing that one, just like you did yesterday with me, Don. Co-signing that one.
Yes. The governor, when asked about healthcare access for a lot of these people, said that he was not going to expand Medicare access. This state has bled hospitals and medical access for the last 10 to 15 years in rural communities. These rural communities, a lot of cases, are voting for this gentleman. I like to call him Jim Crow Peter Griffin. If you Google him, you'll see why I call him that. Jim Crow Peter Griffin. He does not care about them, and what they want to do is make this an issue about it's just abortion, right? And meanwhile, all types of access are cut to things like gender-affirming care. My daughter has precocious puberty. Her doctor had to move because of the limitations that were put on her through the state government. We are losing doctors in the state where you can
doctors, therapists, everything. My girl's therapist, she specializes in, she specializes in gender affirming, therapy or whatever. She left the state. She went up north.
My kid lost her doctor. We have to pay because it is not covered. We have to pay $1,000 every shot my daughter gets to prevent her from having health complications. $1,000, and once we hit whatever the max is, it's included. But this is a full-fledged plan that they're trying to implement that is going to, because they want to go ahead and get you mad about trans folks or gay folks or pregnant women who are using abortion as birth control, which they're using this to siphon off resources for other stuff that they want to do or push programs that they want to do. They're not concerned with babies at all. They're not concerned with health care. They're concerned with control and lack of bodily autonomy for women, because the worst thing for these people that ever happened was that women got jobs and left the home, which meant that they can't control them anymore. They can't control their access to things like birth control or can't control them using it. So they're going to control the access to it. So you have all these laws that are going to put people in a very harmful situation or a more harmful situation than they already were. And then you end up having kids that are born into these situations that are even worse. And then you go ahead and cut the rug from under them and say, you know what? No food for these kids, no health care, no nothing. Nothing about this is about pro-life. It never was, and it never will be. It's about pro-control. And this party that talks about freedom, they seem to get real quiet when you challenge them on what their policies actually do. I'm just gonna end it with this. The way that we help everybody is by helping the most vulnerable amongst us. That is the way that we move forward. So ensuring that people have access to healthcare, access to food, access to reproductive healthcare ensures that we're going to be very productive. We go forward and we don't deal with this bullshit of people like Jim Crow Peter Griffin trying to tell people when and where they can have a child, or if they can have a child at all, or you're going to have that kid. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Gender affirming care. A lot of people like to limit it or limit it to one thing, but by focusing on trans issues themselves, which you should be free to be trans, by focusing on them and using them as a target, you end up harming so many more people. By making abortion this small thing, you end up harming healthcare for so many people when it's not something that is going to personally affect you or impact you, but you want to say, fuck your rights, fuck your people, and I'm with Jones, fuck them kids. And I got one. You don't want children, you shouldn't be forced to have them.
And I don't know if you heard me the other day. I just wanted to point out the irony because Don just talked about this. I don't see any pro-lifers, and I say that always jokingly, on my baby registries in my bio. Buy me some diapers and help some, like help the community.
I'll buy some for you.
Oh, thank you. It's in my link tree. That's where you can find me. But people. And Dawn, I'm sure you're still here. Thank you so much for the stuff that you bought on my baby registry. I really appreciate you, and thanks to the entire community. This is what pro-choice really means, and it means strengthening the people that do want to have kids and giving the freedom to those that don't. And they made fun of us when we said, well, IVF is going to be at stake, or people that have miscarriages are going to be in prison. They said, oh, that's not going to happen. Or women that need the medical exceptions are going to have some implications. They said, oh, that's all not going to happen. It's all not going to happen, but it does, and it did, okay? So now we are talking about IVF being restricted. Now we are talking about people that need a medical emergency not getting access to it. And now we're also talking about those that have had actual miscarriages being imprisoned. So that's what we're seeing now. We know what we're talking about. Your position, your pro-life stance isn't just black and white. It's not just babies, okay? It's not just babies. There's human beings affected by this.
So, Kiera, I got a question. Because you said you watched the DNC yesterday?
I'm sorry? Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I want to see if, like you caught this, I said, because it broke my heart right after his speech because of the lyrics that were in the song, or the lyrics that took place for this mom and this child. Like, did you happen to catch what the lyrics were in the song?
No, I didn't catch the lyrics, but I was just like mostly touched of how incredibly caring this man is, and how much he cares about the family, and how infertility affects many couples, and he understands that the policies that J.D. Vance and Donald Trump are going to put forth is going to affect millions of couples that are struggling.
Yeah, his speech. Like, so the lyrics is from the song "Keep on Rocking in the Free World." Like, is anybody familiar with those lyrics?
No.
About the woman that's on the street and puts her child in the trash can, and then it says, that's one more kid that doesn't go to school, one more kid that's not fed, that doesn't have a chance. So you've got a woman that's struggling mentally, addicted, whatever, and then there's also this child too, that both tragic situations that, like, that I'm like, I caught it, I listened to that, I'm like, man, this is like, that's horrible. It's like, what can we do to fix this in this world, to fix the mental health, to fix the, this girl that's traumatized, and she's like, feels like she can't, care for this child and everything. And so,
yeah, I can tell you that, Harry, I think that those actions are due to poverty and due to social stigma. That's why they happen. So what you're identifying is currently the problem or the cause of pro-life policies and conservative movements that are not trying to allocate resources properly. If somebody is 17 and pregnant and they want to have the baby for whatever reason, I don't know, but it happens, right? I want them to be able to do that. And we can only do that if we give them the resources to. And your party, and that's why I keep saying it, your party, your people are preventing those resources to be allocated. and they are the ones that are judging people. Like I've never seen like the pro-choice movement. I mean, probably there are some people, but I've never seen them judge like single moms or teen moms or people in difficult situations. I only hear that from the Conservative Party, that are shaming mothers that they can't take care of their children, or that they're in a single mother household or whatever, or that they're teen parents. The shame and the absolute stigma always comes from that side too. So on one hand, you want to force them to have them, but on the other hand, you also turn around and slap them. And I'm just tired of this bullshit. Like we shouldn't make people feel bad for having sex and then, having babies out of that. That should be something beautiful if somebody wants that.
Ma, do this right quick, guys. Continue to tap the screen. We are a little less than 400K likes away from hitting a milli, and we are way far behind on these shares in the bottom right-hand corner with the arrow. Please continue to engage with the space. Gift the panel, gift the host, if you will. Crowdfunding for a friend. If you go to Jones's Pay link, click the link in his bio. This is where you can donate if you choose to. It's not required. And I'm conflicted in my spirit. Like, which is worse? Jim Crow Jesus or forced birth Jesus? Which Jesus is worse? Anybody? I'm Hirsch, but please tap the screen and keep talking.
They're both demons, in my opinion. So, and Kiara, thank you so much. Kiara with a K, thank you so much.
Sorry about that, y'all. I had to take care of something. Yeah, so we're at $300. I already sent Auntie $200. I'm gonna send them another $100. So that's $300. And you said that the goal is 9, Auntie?
Yes, sir. 9.
The goal is 9. So we're $600 away from the goal for Auntie's friend. So that they can have a car to get their kids back and forth from school, just so everybody knows where we're at. We're $600 away. You guys can send it to the Tough LTD, which is the charity Cash App, if you want to. But anyways, I don't know who was going next. Hey, Harry, are you actually learning stuff, friend?
I hope he is. I hope that Harry finally takes out the rapist from his PFP. That's my biggest goal, especially now that you said you had daughters.
Yeah, she's gonna stay on your head, bro. She's gonna stay on your neck if you don't. Until you change it.
I'm sorry. I'm pregnant with my.
It's just like people come on here and Jones and hate on him for his hair and his nails and everything. I could do the same thing and bring it up, but dude's got a good heart.
We're at 400 now. So we're at 400. Thank you, Rhonda. You're amazing. We gotta look
past all these things on the surface.
No, that's not the same. Hating people for their skin color and their hair and their nails is not the same as hating somebody for being a rapist. You cannot make those I'm sorry. I'm getting
bro, hold on. Are you comparing me to Trump?
Like, that's fucking crazy, dude.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
People say all trans people or this and that, they're going to do this and that to your kids in the bathroom. They're going to do this and that. Are you comparing human beings that aren't
committing violent acts against women to somebody who does?
Yeah, and LGBTQ people are not committing those crimes on children. Like, that's fucking fake. And whatever we...
He didn't say that, did he? He didn't say you got to look past the grape. You didn't say that just now, did you?
No, I'm saying... So, look, I'll tell you, you already know the big reason why I have that picture there.
Hey, Tabitha, I guess you're never going to say anything. You've been up here for hours, and I gave you the opportunity to unmute, so I'm moving on.
I try to see, I'm in here trying to learn, you're like, oh, is it uncomfortable to talk about this? Yeah, a lot of this shit's uncomfortable to talk about because, like, I know I'm opposed by, everybody. To be, be rated and bashed and, you this and that.
Come on, Harry. Everybody has been so kind and respectful to you, bro. Stop playing the victim.
No, I'm saying
this victim mentality shit is weird to me, bro.
Harry, there's
nothing. There's people that are actually being hurt.
There's nothing in my heart that has sympathy
Thank you,
or
Regina.
compassion for a rapist. That's not going to change. Just like I don't have compassion or tolerance for Nazi, fascist, racist, bigots, I do not care to give them sympathy because they're the ones that are oppressing individuals and causing great harm. And I'm making this so clear right now. If you say that somebody is a great guy, but he's a rapist, then I can already dismiss you entirely. Because you cannot be a good person and be a rapist at the same time. There's no policy that Trump could put forward that would make me look beyond the fact that he has raped a woman and that he has raped potentially others and that he has said very inappropriate things and has done very inappropriate things towards minors. Nothing he could do would change my mind on that.
If he put a policy forward, if the roles were completely reversed and you take all of Kamala's policies and
I would not vote for her. I would not vote for them because they're rapists. No, I would never vote for rapists.
I don't care what his policies are.
Like, it's just like that's
nothing he could do.
That's a hard line.
Pure hatred for
hold on. Harry, listen to me. If somebody raped your wife or child, would you vote for them because their policies were good?
I mean, if they had good policies.
What the hell?
How are you going to explain that to your daughter? How are you? Terry, I'm so serious.
Hold on, stop. Hey, Kiara, please, hold on a second.
What?
I'm gonna ask you again. If somebody raped your wife or child, would you vote for them because their policies were good?
If they benefit my family or anything, what does it like? It's kind of like saying, what does, the LGBT community, like, leave them alone?
No!
They haven't done anything.
Harry!
If they benefit
if somebody
my family
raped
and that,
your wife or child, would you vote for them?
If they had things that benefited my family and those around me,
Harry,
people,
come on.
This is the mindset of every cisgendered white conservative male. There is a guy on this app that has tattoos all over his face and he professes to be a preacher. And he said with his whole chest, and the video is still up, that if his 12-year-old daughter got pregnant due to rape or incest, she would carry that child to term. And I can send you the video, Jones, because I was like, because he was the one that I got into it multiple times on my main account, and he eventually blocked me. When Roe v. Wade was overturned in March of 2022, I gave him the blues until he finally blocked me. I'm going to go find that video and send it to you so you can play it. Because he said if his 12-year-old daughter was raped or got pregnant due to